নমস্কাৰ আৰু শুভ সন্ধিয়া সকলোলৈকে 15 মিনিট শিক্ষাৰ তৰফৰ পৰা আন্তৰিক ধন্যবাদ আৰু কৃতজ্ঞতা জনাইছো আজিৰ অনুষ্ঠানত উপস্থিত থকাৰ কাৰণে আজি আমাৰ মাজত উপস্থিত আছে ফয়াজ আহমেদ তেখেত ওমানৰ সুলতান কবুছ ইউনিভাৰ্চিটিত ইংৰাজী বিভাগৰ লেকচাৰাৰ হয় মই বাকিখিনি অলপ ইংৰাজীতে কৈ দিছো so Fayaz taught at several leading public universities over the past 23 years including Aligarh Muslim University in India and King Abdulaziz University in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. So Fayaz was born and raised in Jorhat in Assam and he did his BA and MA in English from AMU Aligarh, and later he went to Cambridge University and University of Sheffield in UK for further training in English language teaching. And Fayaz holds a diploma in English language assessment from Lancaster University, and he is also currently working with Bell International UK as an accredited teacher trainer. And he also works for the British Council as a Cambridge certified ELTS speaking examiner and has presented his research papers at a number of international ELT conferences. So his major research interests include SLA, sociolinguistics, language teaching, learner motivation, and AI application in writing. So today we are very lucky to have Fayaz with us, and he's going to address the students that are attending today's session. And thank you, Fayaz, for joining us. And we also want to thank all the participants and the colleges who are collaborating with us, especially Dudhnoi College, Gwalpara College, Nagaon Girls College, to name a few of them. And thank you, Fayaz. Over to you now.
Thank you, Rifat. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Thanks very much, Rifat, for the lovely introduction. Good evening, everyone. I hope you all can hear me. Okay, yeah. Rifat, are we good to go?
Yes, sure, please.
Okay, so first of all, I'd just like to thank the organizers of this session for inviting me, especially Rifat or Hongomitra. I know both of them personally. Thank you for getting me on board. I think ICCA has been doing a wonderful job. It's a great platform that has inspired and empowered a lot of young people. And I feel immensely privileged and pleased to be part of this wonderful initiative, finally. So thank you very much. I'm assuming that much of the audience today is probably made up of students and teachers who are either pursuing a career in English teaching or English, or are planning to take it up in the future. So my apologies to those who are probably not related to English or English language teaching. If I don't sound particularly useful to them, my apologies. So today I'm going to speak for about 40 minutes, followed by a Q&A session. So I'll spend about 15 minutes answering your questions if you have any. The talk is going to be in English, but if you have any questions and you want to ask me questions in Assamese, language should not deter you from asking me questions, okay? So please go ahead and ask your questions. Okay, let's get started then. Sorry, just using a timer. All right, so I'd like to start by just very quickly walking you through what we're going to talk about today. I'd like to address 3 key questions today in my talk. First of all, I'd like to talk about, very briefly, I'd like to talk about what ELT really is. And my approach is going to be very grounded, very pragmatic. So I'm not going to give you a lot of theoretical input. I mean, that's the kind of stuff you'll find on the internet and in books. So I'll very quickly introduce you to ELT, English Language Teaching. And then I'm going to talk about why ELT is highly relevant today and what makes it an attractive career. And finally, we're going to spend some time talking about how one can become a successful ELT professional. So what are some of the key ingredients for success in the field of ELT? All right. Now let's look at how ELT is different from other related disciplines, because some of you may not be familiar with ELT, but I'm sure you all are familiar with either English literature or linguistics. So in India, if you are doing your bachelor's or master's in English, the only two options that you have available are English literature. So you can major in English, which I'm sure most of you are doing. Some of you might have chosen to study linguistics. So you can either do a master's, a BA, and then MA in English or linguistics. And when we say MA in English or BA in English, it actually means literature in Indian context. So you study novels and poems and plays right from the Elizabethan age to the modernist period. So that's what literature is all about. But recently, in recent years, literature has become more inclusive and it has become more interdisciplinary with the introduction of culture studies and literary theory. I'm sure you've heard about postmodernism and post-structuralism. And the current focus on the relationship between language and other forms of social discourse. So it has become more inclusive. And the other branch is linguistics. So some of you might be pursuing your degree or your MA in linguistics. Now, linguistics is a study of language systems and language structures, but it's more static in nature. And it kind of, either branches out into descriptive linguistics, so description of different language systems, like, for example, the word formation processes, morphology, for example, or syntax, sentence structures, or pronunciation, phonology. So these are different systems. So linguistics is a study of these systems, right? But it's more of an end in itself. It doesn't really have a practical aspect to it. So linguistics has kind of branched out, bifurcated into applied linguistics. Applied linguistics uses, insights from linguistics, theoretical insights from linguistics to address real life issues. So you can see that applied linguistics is more dynamic in nature and it's more pragmatic, it's more hands-on, so to speak. So if you study applied linguistics, for example, you could be studying language disorders like dyslexia, for example, or you could be studying social linguistics, the relationship between society and language, for example, or you could be studying corpus linguistics or translation. So these are very practical fields with practical utility and value. So applied linguistics is a practical dimension of linguistics. And ELT is actually a specialized discipline within the field of applied linguistics. Now, applied linguistics concerns itself with language in general. So the focus is not really on English alone. And ELT, on the other hand, uses insights from applied linguistics to address issues in English language teaching. So the core focus here is on, creating an engaging teaching and learning experience in English classrooms. So in ELT, the focus is only on English, the teaching delivery of English language in classrooms. So you can see it's very dynamic, it's very fluid, it's more practical and hands-on. Now, ELT is delivered in different ways in different parts of the world. It could be TESL, which we also call TESL, which is English as a second language, teaching English as a second language. For example, in countries like, you know, UK or US, there are a lot of immigrants who need to learn English as a second language, and they need to integrate with the mainstream there. So they need that language. So they have to learn English as a second language, right? Or, you know, teaching English in this part of the world where I am from. I'm in the Middle East now. So here the context is more TEFL, T-E-F-L, which is English is not a language of communication in general, but students have to learn English as a foreign language. For university, for work purposes, they need English. So that is TEFL. There's another branch of ELT, which is EAP, which is English for academic purpose. It's especially useful for those who plan to study at universities where English is the medium of instruction. So they need to do their research, they need to study, they need to take their exams in English. So they need to know how to write academic English, for example. So that is part of EAP. And then, of course, the other branch, popular branch, is ESP, which is a branch of ELT. And ESP is English for specific purposes. So, for example, if you want to pursue medicine, if you want to become a doctor, or you want to become an engineer, you need to learn or master a particular kind of vocabulary or a particular kind of English, which is more technical, which is related to your chosen field. So it could be English for engineers, or English for doctors, or English for business managers. So there are different courses tailor-made for different groups of professionals or people who want to pursue different professions. So that's what ESP is all about. But these are all different branches of ELT. Now, let's think about what you study in ELT. Unfortunately, there are not too many universities in India that offer ELT as a subject of study. We're going to talk about that a little later. But right now, let's think about what you study in ELT, right? Let me present a couple of questions before you. These are some research questions that my students are right now working on. Let me first present the questions to you. These are the questions my students are currently researching. How does the integration of technologies such as AI-powered language apps, virtual reality, or language learning platforms contribute to students' language acquisition? How do authentic materials such as real-world texts, videos, and podcasts enhance students' language proficiency and prepare them for real-life language use? How does the quality of teacher-student relationship affect students' motivation, participation, and language learning outcomes? How can drama techniques and role-play activities can be effectively used to develop language learners' oral proficiency, creativity, and confidence in speaking? How well do current English language textbooks incorporate cultural elements, and how can they be improved to promote cross-cultural empathy and awareness? How can teachers effectively address the challenge of diverse language background of their students in multilingual English classrooms? Now, if any of these questions excites you or just piques your curiosity, that means this is a field you are interested in, or this is a field that you probably find very stimulating and very exciting. As you can see, the focus here is on improving your overall teaching skills. So anything that contributes to building your teaching skills is part of ELT, right? Now, what are the core topic areas in ELT? Number one, of course, teaching methodology. I'm sure you have read about, different approaches to teaching English, like communicative approach, for example, or grammar translation approach, or audiolingual approach, or more contemporary task-based approach to teaching. So these are all different methods and approaches to teaching English. So this is one of the core areas of study in ELT. You also learn about SLA, second language acquisition. I'm sure you've heard or read about Krashen's input hypothesis and Chomsky's universal grammar, or Vygotsky's social constructivism, for example. These are all different theories of how a child acquires a second language. So these are all second language acquisition theories. So this is, again, a very important topic area of ELT. Language assessment, how to create valid and reliable language tests. That comes under assessment. What is score reliability? What is content validity? What is face validity? How we can make language assessment more reliable and more accurate. All that comes under language assessment. Curriculum design, designing a curriculum or a syllabus for an English course, that comes under curriculum design. Discourse analysis, analysis of spoken or written texts, uncovering their linguistic features or their social dimensions. And then you have critical discourse analysis, which is very radical in nature. So it kind of questions the existing social structures, and it also examines how language actually reinforces those existing structures and challenges those structures at the same time. So a very interesting topic area within ELT. And then, of course, called computer-assisted language learning, which now has become EdTech. So it kind of covers everything related to technology and the use of technology and the integration of technology in language teaching and learning. So these are not all, but some of the core areas in ELT. So if you pursue a bachelor's or master's in ELT, these are some of the areas that you're going to be engaging in. Now, if you are curious or if you want to pursue ELT, then a good starting point could be this website. It's whatiselt.com. It's a very useful website, especially for beginners, so you could check it out. And then there are 3 books, and I'd like you to read one of these books. They're meant for beginners. So, for example, if you don't know much about ELT and your background is in English literature, but you want to switch to ELT, then this could be one of the starting points. So you could read Learning Teaching. This is a fantastic book by Jim Scrivener. Or you could read Pearson's The Practice of English Language Teaching. That's by Jeremy Harmer. Or you could read Penny Uhr's A Course in English Language Teaching. I have the soft copies of these books. So if you're interested, you could just get in touch with me. So these 3 are considered the best introductory books for ELT. And they don't assume any prior knowledge at all. So if you don't have any prior knowledge, but you want to explore ELT, one of these 3 books could be a great starting point. Now, let's move on to the next question. Why do you think ELT is so highly relevant today? I mean, most of you are doing your bachelor's in literature, or probably intend to do your master's in literature, English. English is literature in India. So why ELT? Why is it important? Well, it's important because its core curricular focus is on building your teaching skills. Now, imagine if you want to teach in high school, for example, so you have to do B.Ed, right, after you're doing your bachelor's. Without a B.Ed degree, you can't straight away start teaching in a school, right? Because the B.Ed degree equips you with certain teaching skills that you need to be able to teach in a school. But what about teaching in a college or a university? The assumption is that if you've done your master's, you're automatically equipped to teach in a college or a university. You're automatically equipped to teach at a higher level, which is not true, because a university doesn't really, an MA in English, for example, doesn't really teach you how to teach. It doesn't develop your teaching skills. It doesn't help build your teaching skills, right? It just assumes that you'll become an English teacher. Once you finish your studies, you become a teacher and you start teaching, and all those, wonderful qualities that you have as a teacher would unfold magically. But that's not the case, really. Nobody's born a teacher. You have to train to be a teacher. You have to develop your teaching skills. And one special thing about ELT is that it's focused, right from assessment to syllabus design, teaching methodology, everything that it does is geared towards helping build your teaching skills. So it makes a better teacher out of you. Well, it has a very hands-on approach to teaching practice, which means there's a practical component to an ELT course. Now, you've done your master's in English or bachelor's in English, but you don't really learn to teach. But if you do pursue a degree in ELT, then there's a teaching practice component. There's a practical component built into an ELT curriculum, which means you have to teach and somebody would observe you, give you feedback. So you practice teaching and you refine and fine-tune your teaching skills, something that is missing in a conventional master's degree in English. And this is how you can make a tangible difference to the learning process. You can see that, you're becoming a better teacher, all right? And you're able to make a huge impact, a positive impact on your students. So this can be personally fulfilling. And most importantly, there are plenty of exciting and rewarding job opportunities abroad. Lots of students keep asking me, I keep getting queries about the kinds of opportunities available, especially in this part of the world. I've been here in the Middle East for the last 23 years. So I'd like to answer some of those queries today. So if you do a master's in English, which is literature, unfortunately, there are not too many jobs available abroad. So the opportunities are severely restricted, limited, if you have a master's in English. Because, every employer would ask for your transcript, not just a degree. It's not just a degree, they would ask for your transcripts. And when they see your transcript has all the papers that you've taken, which are literature-based, they would not accept you, they would not hire you. So they are always on the lookout for ELT professionals, people with an ELT qualification. So if you want to work in India and you want to take NET, but the problem with NET is also that if you are a literature student, you can take NET in English. Or if you are a linguistics student, you can take NET in linguistics, right? But if you are an ELT student, you cannot really take NET in ELT. There's no NET in ELT, National Eligibility Test. So you have to take your test either in English, literature, or in linguistics, right? But if you have the spirit of adventure and you want to go abroad or you want to work abroad or you're looking for opportunities which are not just personally fulfilling, but also financially rewarding, and you love to travel, you want to go and experience a different culture or want to, live somewhere else while working, then, and if you love teaching English language, then of course, ELT is your go-to degree, go-to qualification, because there are lots of exciting opportunities in different parts of the world if you have an ELT qualification. Okay, let's look at some of the possibilities. Let's look at some teaching opportunities. So in the Middle East, there are jobs for ELT qualified professionals at universities, public universities and colleges, especially their preparatory programs, because in every university and college, students have to first study English before they're eligible to go to any of those departments. Even if, like, for example, you want to pursue medicine, first you have to go through the preparatory program and study English for a year before you're cleared to join the College of Medicine or the College of Engineering. So there's a huge demand for qualified ELT professionals here in this part of the world. And the preparatory programs hire a lot of teachers every year. There are big public universities like the one where I work, Sultan Qaboos University in Muscat, and then you have Qatar University in Doha, and you have Sheikh Zayed University in Abu Dhabi, and then you have King Abdulaziz and King Saud universities in Riyadh and Jeddah in Saudi Arabia. These are huge universities and they pay handsomely and they've got like excellent infrastructure. and they've got a very professional program in place. So, it can be professionally rewarding and personally fulfilling as well, working in these places. And then if you want to go and live in East Asia, for example, countries like China, Taiwan, and South Korea, there's a huge demand for language teachers. Again, they're looking for people with a qualification in ELT. So if you simply have a degree in English, that doesn't really help. So there are language schools in these countries. And there are also schools which are built around, preparation for different exams, English exams. So there's a lot of demand for ELT qualified teachers in these countries. And then, of course, in UK and Canada, in countries like Australia, UK, or Canada, there's this growing number of immigrants who don't have the linguistic equipment, who don't know English, and they have to integrate and survive. They need to develop those survival skills. So they need to learn English in an ESOL environment. It's called ESOL, English as a second language. And there's a huge demand for ELT professionals in these countries where English is the first language, but there are a lot of immigrants who struggle with English, and they need to learn English in a professional setting. So in these countries, ELT professionals are needed as well. There are lots of job sites, but I strongly recommend these 3 websites. And you could just check out their international job boards, and you get plenty of opportunities there. The first one is Dave's ESL Cafe. This is my favorite because I got my first job in Saudi back in 2002 using this particular website, Dave's ESL Cafe. They've got a wonderful international job board with hundreds of jobs. And then you have tfl.com. That's another good one. And finally, Teach Away. So check out these websites for ELT jobs. Now, another way of getting an ELT job, landing a good ELT job, is attending an international ELT conference. Some of the big conferences are ITEFL, which is held in the UK annually. TESOL convention is held in the US annually. And part of the attraction of attending these international ELT conferences is their job fair. So they've got like this job fair. So you could just walk in, submit your resume, and then you're interviewed. And these, ELT conferences attract a lot of ELT recruiters, reputed recruiters from all over the world, universities and language schools. So it's like a one-stop shop. And you just apply on the spot, and then you get selected for an interview, you're interviewed, and then you have the option of going for different jobs. It's a fair, right? So this is another great opportunity. I strongly recommend one particular annual job fair that I attended, and that landed me my current job, which is TESOL Arabia. It is held in Dubai annually. I know going to Dubai could be a bit far-fetched for many, but if you think it's worth your time and effort, or if you want to present a paper, for example, or you want to attend this conference, right? Then part of the attraction could be attending this job fair, right? So again, this is held annually in March, April, because normally most recruiters recruit teachers around March, April for the following academic year. So TESOL Arabia Dubai is another very well-known ELT convention, which has a very good job fair. Now, if you're not interested in teaching and you have a degree in ELT, or you just love the language, but you don't love the teaching bit, then what do you do? Well, there are some alternative pathways. You could work with an ELT publishing company as a material writer and content editor. There's a huge demand for such individuals these days. There are companies like Oxford University Press, Hindley, and Cengage, and Pearson, Longman, you name it, and you have them all in India. So all these publishers look for course book writers or people who can edit and create content for their virtual and printed textbook materials. You can also work as a language program administrator or ELT manager. There are organizations, very well-known organizations like British Council, UK, and then you have IDP Australia, and they have set up their branches in India as well. So, and they need people who could, work as a language program director, for example, or as an ELT manager. If you're more interested in administration, for example, or you're more interested in running a language program, then you can also think of specializing in ELT management. Within ELT, there's an area called ELT management. So, it kind of allows you to become an ELT administrator or manager, which is, again, a very fulfilling professional position. You can also work as a corporate communication coach. Most big companies today, recruit people, who can train their employees in soft skills, for example, or in business English. You can also work in the edtech industry to develop digital learning tools. There are companies like Unacademy, for example, or Byju's, and then there are companies like Kahoot that actually develop, English language games, learning tools, and they are constantly in need of people with an ELT background. You can also work as a test developer or teacher trainer. So you're not really teaching, but you're training teachers, right? Now, most of these publishing houses, of course, they develop material for different universities, different clients, and they need in-house teacher trainers to train, a group of teachers how to teach a particular textbook, for example. So they're also on the lookout for trainers, and they require an ELT qualification. So these are some alternative pathways that you may consider if you think teaching is not your cup of tea. Now, what are the 3 key ingredients for success if you want to become an ELT professional? So, of course, it's obvious that you need to be proficient in English, you need to have oral fluency, and you need to have outstanding overall communication skills. Now, studying, some of you might be thinking, oh, we studied in Assamese medium, so we probably don't stand a chance, or, it gives others, probably with a convent school background, an unfair edge. That's not true. I studied in an Assamese medium school. I believe if you have the passion, the desire, and the will, then you could do it. Anything you want, you can. You can master the language, right? And you can communicate confidently. So that should not be a deterrent. The fact that you went to an Assamese medium school should not be a deterrent, right? So oral fluency and outstanding communication skills, that's very important, because that's an area where I think most of us don't pay attention to, because our degrees are designed to kind of equip us with skills that help us with writing, for example, right? But not with spoken communication. But remember, when you have an ELT qualification and you're looking for a job, right, then your oral fluency and your overall communication skills will matter, will make a significant difference. One thing you could possibly do is take IELTS exam. I'm sure most of you are familiar with the English language testing system exam run by Cambridge. I'm an examiner with Cambridge myself. So if you need more information, I can help you if you contact me personally. But, it's a 9-band test, and you're tested on 4 different skills: reading, writing, speaking, and listening. So if you can get a band 8 plus, 8 or 8 plus out of 9, 8.5, 8 or 9, that shows that your English is of the highest proficiency level. And so you don't have to worry, even if you're pitted against native speakers, because your English is of that native speaker level. So you can take this test, IELTS test, and get a band score of 8 or above across all 4 skills, and you're good to apply. This test is held in different places in India, and as far as I know, Guwahati also has a center. So, and the test is held probably once or twice a month. So, and it's conducted by IDP Australia. You could just check out their website and find out when the exam is conducted. You can register online and take the exam on a given day. And I think within 2 weeks, you get your scores. And then your certificate remains valid for 2 years. And it's a very useful and probably the best known indicator of your language proficiency in English. So I would advise you to go for IELTS. if you are keen to work abroad. The other thing is, if you're a fresher, it becomes quite challenging when it comes to getting a job abroad. So 2-3 years of language teaching experience would help. Even if it's part-time job, it doesn't matter. So you can work part-time, you can work full-time, you can work in a school. It doesn't really matter at all, as long as you're teaching. All right, you're an experienced teacher. So 2-3 years of English language teaching experience is desirable if you want to really succeed as an ELT professional. And then, of course, a postgraduate ELT qualification, about which I'm going to talk a little later. Okay, so first, how do you acquire an ELT qualification, and what kind of qualifications do you acquire? The first qualification, of course, is a master's in ELT. We unfortunately don't have a bachelor's in ELT. So your bachelor's can be in any field. The best part is, you don't have to be from English. So you may be from sciences, you may be from economics, you may be from commerce, but if you have an interest in English, or you want to switch careers, switch fields, and you want to become an English teacher, you could just jump on board. It doesn't matter how late you are. You could still, do an MA in ELT and become an ELT professional, because you don't need any prior knowledge. So an MA in ELT would be a shot in the arm, really. Unfortunately, most universities in India don't offer a master's in ELT. So, most universities in India offer a degree in English, which is basically literature-based. So what do you do if you want to do an MA in ELT after your bachelor's in English? So the good news is there are a handful of universities that offer face-to-face ELT courses, exclusively tailored, designed ELT courses. So one is AMU, Aligarh Muslim University. I think they have their test centers all over India. So you could take your test, I think, in Guwahati and still qualify. And then IFLU, English and Foreign Languages University in Hyderabad. But I've just found out that they have a branch in Shillong as well. So you might just check it out. They might be offering a face-to-face MA in ELT. And then Guwahati University, I found out, has an MA in ELT course. So that's something some of you might just seriously look at. If you are working or you're interested in a distance MA in ELT, then the best option is Netaji Subhas Open University, Kolkata. IGNOU doesn't offer a distance MA in ELT. So this is the only place that offers a distance MA in English language teaching. Some of you might, want to study a taught course in the UK. That's the best place to go to if you want to study English language teaching. Now, there are some top UK universities that offer distance MA in TESOL with very flexible and cost-effective options. So you don't really have to be there on site to pursue a fully taught course, and everything is delivered online. And the best part is the degree that you get doesn't mention that it's an online degree. So it's as good as, an official fully taught degree. So these are some of the top universities that offer masters in ELT or TESOL: University of Birmingham, Lancaster University, University of Nottingham, University of East London, University of Portsmouth, and University of Leicester. So you could check out their websites, and they've got all the details. And some of these programs are very robust, but at the same time, they're very flexible, very cost-effective if you pursue these courses online. So I think worth a look. I mean, ELT, if you want to go to England to study a master's in ELT, I know it can be a financial challenge, but the good thing is there are some scholarships for Indian students, especially those who are looking to study ELT. Now, I would like you to look at some of these options. The biggest option is Hornby Scholarship. It's called Hornby Educational Trust Scholarship. There are 10 fully funded scholarships taking care of your travel expenses, your accommodation, and full tuition, which are available every year to study a full-time MA in ELT or TESOL, at partner universities like Warwick and Exeter. These are two universities which are partnering with Hornby. So if you win the scholarship, you're eligible to go to one of these universities. The application deadline is usually in February or March, but you need to have 2 years teaching experience. So you could do your BA and then, teach for 2 years, or do your master's and then work for 2 years and then apply for the scholarship, right? And that's the link for the website that provides you all the details. There's some other scholarship options like the Commonwealth Master's Scholarship. Again, it's a fully funded merit cum means scholarship. You could check out the scholarship website. And if you win the scholarship, then you can study at certain selected universities in the UK. And everything is taken care of. And then there's a scholarship offered by the University of Edinburgh, Scotland. That's one of the top universities in the UK. And it's an MA program in TESOL, and the scholarship is Moray House Access Scholarship. There are, I think, 1 or 2 scholarships available, and you could check this out as well. And then there are British Council scholarships for only Indian students. Those were English language teachers and were from India. So there are 5 fully funded scholarships to study distance MA. Now, this one, you don't get an opportunity to go and study on site, but your entire distance MA in TESOL from a top university would be sponsored and would be financed. So it would be at the University of Stirling, this particular university. So this is something you could seriously look at. I've provided the link for the website that gives you all the information that you need. And there are 5 scholarships only for Indian applicants. And then Warwick University offers some Masters in TESOL bursaries. So these are like financial grants. There are 2 merit scholarships which are worth 50% of your full tuition to study full-time at Warwick University. But you need to have 2 years of professional teaching experience. So again, you need to have some teaching experience, and then you can apply for one of these grants. Now, there are some globally recognized ELT qualifications. If you don't want to do a master's, a full-blown master's, you could go for CELTA and DELTA. CELTA is Certificate in English Language Teaching to Adults, and DELTA is a diploma. And they're awarded by Cambridge University. They're widely recognized and most prestigious international ELT qualifications, and they're offered by British Council in India. So you need to contact one of the British Council centers in India if you want to pursue either CELTA or DELTA. You could do it full-time, part-time, or there are some flexible blended options. And I've just heard that there are 100% online options available as well. So these courses combine theoretical input with actual teaching, observation, and feedback, which is fantastic. Minimum qualification for CELTA is an undergraduate degree in any subject, so it doesn't matter. I remember when I was doing my CELTA at the University of Sheffield in the UK, I was surprised to find, students from other fields. Like there was a doctor, there was an engineer who were just bored of their professions and they wanted to teach. They wanted to switch careers, and they joined the CELTA program. So it's a month-long program if you want to do it full-time, right? And at the end of the month, you get like one of the most prestigious qualifications in ELT. It's awarded by Cambridge University, and you don't have to be just a graduate in English. You could be an undergraduate in any discipline, all right? And you could become a CELTA professional. And then DELTA is a diploma, so it's like a 1 notch higher. It's meant for experienced teachers who seek to become certified teacher trainers. But for CELTA, if you're just a graduate with no prior knowledge of ELT, that's fine. That's perfect. And CELTA will open up a world of opportunities for you. When I did CELTA, I was already like, I think into my 10th or 11th year of teaching. But when I went to do CELTA, it just opened up new possibilities for me. I became a transformed teacher, a different teacher altogether. I kind of developed new teaching skills. I reflected on my teaching practices, and I became a very different person. So I think CELTA is something I strongly recommend if you're serious about a career in ELT. The DELTA modules, there are 3 modules. There's an on-site exam, and there's a teaching practice component, and there's a project. that you have to do. There's a teaching knowledge test, TKT, that's also awarded by Cambridge. It's a globally well-known ELT test that shows that you have the knowledge and the skills to become a successful ELT professional. And there are 3 modules, followed by a 4-band written test with a certificate awarded for each module separately. And there are centers in India, Delhi, Kolkata, Mumbai, Hyderabad, Chennai, Bangalore. And these tests are organized by British Council along with Asian College of Teachers. The written test is usually held in June, July. And there's a lot of preparation material available on the official website. So you could just check out the site and you can see sample tests and guidelines as well. So this is the handbook that you could actually download from the Cambridge site. And this is the book. Again, a soft copy of this book is with me. So if you're interested, you could reach out. There are 2 affordable distance learning options because Celta and Delta are quite pricey. So if you don't want to spend so much and you're looking for a more reasonable, affordable option, then there are 2 affordable options, distance learning options in India. There's this postgraduate certificate in the teaching of English, PGCTE. This is awarded by IFLU, Hyderabad, and it takes 1 year to complete. And there are online assignments followed by a contact cum examination module in June, July, and you have to attend it only once. And the minimum qualification is that you have to be an MA in English or linguistics. So this is a certificate that I found particularly useful with a lot of high quality material provided. Or if you're looking for an international accreditation, then you could consider doing an online TEFL course from Asian College of Teachers. They offer a wide range of certificates and diplomas for both new teachers and experienced teachers. So they've got like different tailor-made modules. So 120 to 500 hours of instruction. There are live lessons, and they're accredited by TESOL Canada and TESOL United States. So this is something that you could seriously consider. You could go to their websites and check out the details. There are also some free online introductory courses. Now, these courses are completely free, so you might want to check them out. The TESOL certificate courses, quite a few courses on Coursera. I'm sure you're familiar with Coursera, and they're offered by Arizona State University, USA. And these are on Coursera, and they're completely free. There's another course offered by the University of Oregon, USA. It's called Shaping the Way We Teach English, Paths to Success in ELT. Again, it's an introductory course, and it's offered by Coursera, University of Oregon. There's a course on Introduction to Applied Linguistics and TESOL, which is offered by another platform called FutureLearn. I'm sure some of you might be familiar with it. And this is a course offered by the University of Leicester. Another course offered by Anglia Ruskin University, UK, Key Principles and Practices of TESOL, also offered on FutureLearn. There is also a very good TESOL certification program, which is offered on a platform called Canvas by TESOL Canada. And a foundation certificate in TEFL offered by London Teacher Training College. This is another certificate that you could pursue without having to pay anything. So these are some free online courses that will introduce you to the world of ELT. So I would say they're worth a look if you're interested. So I think that brings me to the end of the presentation. I've spent about 44 minutes. I'm sorry. But if you have any questions, I'd be happy to take them now.
ধন্যবাদ ফায়াজ
Thank you, Hiranada.
এইটো খুব তথ্য সমৃদ্ধ এটা বক্তৃতা বা আলোচনা মই আশা কৰিছো আমি 15 মিনিট শিক্ষাৰ এটাই সদস্যই আশা কৰিছো যে আমাৰ ইয়াত উপস্থিত থকা শিক্ষাৰ্থীসকল বা পিছত যিসকলে ইয়াৰ ভিডিঅটো চাব তেওঁলোকে এই আলোচনাটোৰ পৰা বহু কথা জানিব পাৰিব তেখেতে ইংৰাজী পঢ়ি ইংৰাজীৰ যে দুটা ভাগ সাহিত্য আৰু ভাষাতত্ত্বৰো যে আকৌ দুটা ভাগ এপ্লাইড লিংগুইষ্টিক্স আৰু ELT পঢ়ি কি কৰিব পাৰি ক'ত কেনেকৈ যাব পাৰি সেই কথাখিনি ইমান সুন্দৰকৈ আমাক 44 মিনিট সময় আলোচনা কৰিলে তাৰ কাৰণে 15 মিনিট শিক্ষাৰ তৰফৰ পৰা আমি ফায়াজ আহমেদক কৃতজ্ঞতা জ্ঞাপন কৰিছো আমি আশা কৰিছো যে আমাৰ শিক্ষাৰ্থীসকলে এই আলোচনাটোৰ পৰা যথেষ্ট উপকৃত হ'ব আমি জানো যে তেওঁলোকৰ হয়তো বহুত প্ৰশ্ন আছে প্ৰশ্নোত্তৰ শিতানলৈ যোৱাৰ আগতে আমি আমাৰ পৰৱৰ্তী অনুষ্ঠান সম্পৰ্কে এটা সমূহ ঘোষণা কৰিব খুজিছো আমাৰ 27 তাৰিখে আমাৰ পৰৱৰ্তী অনুষ্ঠানটো অনুষ্ঠিত হ'ব আৰু সেই অনুষ্ঠানত আমাৰ অতিথি হ'ব 2023 চনৰ মাষ্টাৰ চেফ ইণ্ডিয়াৰ মাষ্টাৰ চেফ নয়নজ্যোতি শইকীয়া ৰন্ধা বঢ়া কৰি কেনেকে আমি ডাঙৰ ডাঙৰ কাম কৰিব পাৰো আমাৰ সকলোৰে খোৱা বোৱাৰ প্ৰতি ৰাপ আছে আশা কৰিছো ইয়াত উপস্থিত থকা আটাই খোৱা বোৱা কৰি ভাল পায় আৰু এই খোৱা বোৱাৰ আৰত এটা যে ৰন্ধন যেটো হেতু এটা ৰন্ধন প্ৰণালী বা ৰন্ধনটো যে এটা কলা সেই কথাটো আমি নয়নজ্যোতি শইকীয়াৰ পৰা জানিবলৈ প্ৰয়াস কৰিম আমাৰ পৰৱৰ্তী অনুষ্ঠানত এই পৰৱৰ্তী অনুষ্ঠানটো অনুষ্ঠিত হ'ব আগষ্টৰ 27 তাৰিখে 7:30 বজাত আমি আশা ৰাখিছো ইয়াত উপস্থিত থকা শিক্ষাৰ্থী আৰু শিক্ষকসকলে এই অনুষ্ঠানটোৰ বিষয়েও প্ৰচাৰ কৰিব আৰু আমাৰ যেটো প্ৰয়াস এই প্ৰয়াসৰ জৰিয়তে আমি অসমৰ বিশেষকৈ অসমৰ কলেজীয়া ছাত্ৰ-ছাত্ৰীসকলক কিছুমান কথা বৃত্তি সম্বন্ধীয় বা বিভিন্ন বিষয় সম্বন্ধীয় বিদ্যায়তনিক আলোচনা লগতে আমাৰ প্ৰায়োগিক কিছুমান কথা জনোৱাৰ যেটো আমাৰ প্ৰয়াস এই প্ৰয়াসটোত বৰঙনি যোগাব বুলি আশা ৰাখিছো ইয়াকে কৈ পুনৰবাৰ 15 মিনিট শিক্ষাৰ তৰফৰ পৰা ফায়াজ আহমেদক আমাৰ মাজত পাই তেখেতলৈ কৃতজ্ঞতা জ্ঞাপন কৰি আমি প্ৰশ্নোত্তৰ শিতানলৈ আগবাঢ়িছো
ধন্যবাদ দাদা ধন্যবাদ thank you so much pleasure is all mine
thank you
এটা প্ৰশ্ন বিমান কুমাৰ নাথ ডাঙৰীয়াৰ পৰা আহিছে মই অনুৰোধ কৰিম বিমান কুমাৰ নাথ ডাঙৰীয়া আপুনি প্ৰশ্নটো নিজেই খুধি দিব পাৰিব মই আপোনাক আনমিউট কৰি দিছো প্লিজ
ধন্যবাদ স্যাৰ শুনা পাইছেনে
হয় 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 কক
স্যাৰ আজি মানে এখন সভা আছিল সভাখনত মানে এজন ছাৰে ক'লে মানে ভাষাৰ কথা কৈ থাকোতে যে ইংলিছ ইজ এ লেংগুৱেজ অফ অপৰচুনিটিজ হিন্দী ইজ এ লেংগুৱেজ অফ এন্টাৰটেইনমেন্ট সো মই ছাৰৰ পৰা অকমান জানিব বিচাৰিছো যে এই বস্তুটো ছাৰে মানে কি ক'ব বিচাৰিছে ফাইজ ছাৰে আৰু 2 নম্বৰতে আমি অসমীয়া ভাষাটোৰ ক্ষেত্ৰত এনেকুৱা কি ধৰক কৰিব পৰা যায় যেটো ধৰক বেলেগ ভাষাবোৰত ধৰক এনেকে আছে যে ধৰণে আমি দক্ষিণ ভাৰতৰ ভাষাবোৰৰ ক্ষেত্ৰত দেখো যে এটা লেংগুৱেজ অফ অপৰচুনিটিজ হ'ব পাৰে তো কিবা তেনেকুৱা ফেক্টৰছ ধৰক স্পেশাল ফেক্টৰছ আৰু পিনৰ পৰা সেই বিষয়ে অকমান জানিব বিচাৰিছিল স্যাৰ
আপুনি যেটো কৈছে আপোনাৰ নামটো বিমান নহয় মিষ্টাৰ বিমান হয় আপুনি যেটো কৈছে হয় হেতু মই এগ্ৰি কৰো যে ইংৰাজী ইজ এ ল্যাঙ্গুৱেজ অফ অপৰচুনিটিজ অফ কোর্স আৰু ইংৰাজী এনেকুৱা ভাষা যেটো আজি গোটেই মানে পৃথিৱীতে প্ৰচলিত আৰু অকল ইংৰাজীতে নহয় ধৰক আপুনি যদি STEM কিবা সায়েন্স এণ্ড টেকনলজি পাৰসু কৰিব বিচাৰে বা বেলেগ কিবা ফিল্ডতো আপুনি যাব বিচাৰে বিজনেস ম্যানেজমেন্ট হওক ইকনমিক্স হওক ফাইনান্স হওক কমাৰ্চ হওক ইংৰাজী লাগে আৰু মই কাৰণে কৈছো ইভেন যদি আপুনি আজি কিবা এটা পঢ়িবৰ কাৰণে ইউকে লেভেল তাতো আপুনি প্ৰথম মানে ক্লিয়াৰ কৰিব লাগিব ইংৰাজী মোৰ মনত আছে মই যেতিয়া কেম্ব্ৰিজত পঢ়ি আছিলো তাত মোক এটা ইংৰাজী কোৰ্স এটা পঢ়াবলৈ দিছিল আৰু এই কোৰ্সটোৰ ষ্টুডেন্টছবোৰ প্ৰায়বোৰে লাটিন আমেৰিকাৰ বা কেম্ব্ৰিজৰ ষ্টুডেন্টছ কিন্তু তেওঁলোকৰ ইংৰাজী প্ৰফিচিয়েন্সি লেভেলটো হাই নাছিল কাৰণে তেওঁলোকক এটা কোৰ্স দিয়া হৈছিল এই কোৰ্সটো ক্লিয়াৰ নকৰাকৈ তেওঁলোকে মানে বেলেগ একো কৰিব নোৱাৰে হেতু এটা মানে কোৰ্স তেওঁলোকক আৰু এই কোৰ্সটো মোক পঢ়াবলৈ দিছিল আৰু তাতে মোৰ অবজাৰভেশন হৈছিল গতিকে মোৰ মনত আছে গতিকে তাত মই কিছুমান ডক্টৰছ ইঞ্জিনিয়াৰছ এনেকুৱা মানুহকো মই লগ পাইছিলো গতিকে ডেফিনেটলি ইংলিছ ইজ আ ল্যাঙ্গুৱেজ অফ অপৰচুনিটি ঠিকেই কৈছে আপুনি আৰু হিন্দী মই নাভাবো যে অকল ইটস আ ল্যাঙ্গুৱেজ অফ অপৰচুনিটি and entertainment মই ভাবো যে it can be a language of opportunity as well এতিয়া অন্তত হিন্দী এতিয়া মই দেখিছো আমি যেতিয়া সৰু আছিলো হিন্দী ইমান প্ৰচলিত নাছিল এতিয়া thanks to media social media হিন্দী যথেষ্ট জনপ্ৰিয় হৈছে গতিকে মই নাভাবো যে হিন্দী can be limited to entertainment alone আৰু অসমীয়া মই ভাবো যে যদি কিছুমান বস্তু ট্ৰান্সলেট কৰিব পাৰি অসমীয়াৰ পৰা translation studies is also part of ELT in a way গতিকে মই ভাবো যে যদি হে তাত স্পেশালাইজ কৰি অসমৰ কিছুমান মানে কিছুমান উপন্যাস কিছুমান বা সাহিত্যৰ কিছুমান বৰ ডাঙৰ ডাঙৰ কিছুমান পুথি এনে ধৰণৰ কিছুমান যিবোৰ বস্তু বাহিৰত মই শুনা নাপাওঁ বহুতে মোক সোধে যে অসমীয়া যে ভাষা এইটো কি ডাইলেক্ট নেকি তেতিয়া মই খুব অফেণ্ডেড হৈ যাওঁ মই কওঁ নহয় এইটো ডাইলেক্ট নহয় এইটো এটা ভাষা হয় আৰু তাৰ নিজৰ সাহিত্য আছে নিজৰ ইতিহাস আছে কিন্তু বহুতে নাজানে এইটো গতিকে মই ভাবো যে যদি কিছুমান অসমীয়া কিছুমান ৱৰ্কছ যদি অনুবাদ হয় ইংৰাজীলৈ আৰু সেই কামটো যদি কোনোবাই হাতত লয় আৰু স্পেচিয়েলি উইথ those individuals, with a qualification in translation, professional translators, আৰু অসমত তেনেকুৱা কোনো professional translators অলপমান অভাৱ গতিকে তেনেধৰণৰ মানুহ যদি অলপমান আগবাঢ়ি আহে আৰু কিছুমান বস্তু অনুবাদ কৰিবলৈ আৰম্ভ কৰে তেতিয়া অন্তত বাহিৰৰ মানুহখিনিয়ে গম পাব অসমৰ সাহিত্য কিমান ৰিচ গতিকে মই ভাবো যে the focus should be on translation and reaching out to other communities through English. So, ASMEs can be made popular through English. গতিকে কিছুমান মই ভাবো যে translation could be a way out. মই ভাবো
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. আৰু এটা প্ৰশ্ন সুধিব খুজিছে ডক্টৰ বৰ্ণালী নাথ দুৱৰা আপোনাকো আনমিউট কৰিছো আপুনি প্লিজ প্ৰশ্নটো সুধিব পাৰে
Good evening, sir. Namaskar.
Good evening, Dr. Dora. Good evening.
Sir, birate informative or resourceful kotha apni aji khunibo palu. Moi etu janibo bicharisilu sir je apuni iman khini avenues ba platforms dekhale jot ami ELT related course koribo paru MA hok ba CELTA বা ডেল্টা কোর্স এতিয়া তাত মানে এটা কথা মই জানিব বিচাৰিছিলো যে এনেকুৱা কিবা জব মাৰ্কেটত ইন দি ইন্টাৰনেশ্যনেল জব মাৰ্কেট তাত কিবা কথা আছে নেকি যে ডিসটেন্সৰ পৰা এটো কোর্স কৰা বা কিবা ডিফাৰেন্স আছে নেকি যে ওপেন ইউনিভাৰ্সিটিত কৰা বা কোনটো ইউনিভাৰ্সিটিৰ পৰা কৰা সেই ওপৰত মানে কিবা ডিস্টিংকশন আছে নেকি জব মাৰ্কেটত ইন্টাৰনেশ্যনেল জব মাৰ্কেটত
জব মাৰ্কেটত ডিস্টিংকশন বুলি তেনেকৈ নাই কাৰণ আলটিমেটলি যেটো আপোনাৰ ডিগ্ৰী হ'ব ট্ৰান্সক্ৰিপ্টছ হ'ব তাত একো লিখা থাকে যেটো ডিসটেন্স কোৱালিফিকেশন যেনেকৈ CELTA আপুনি ফুল টাইমো কৰিব পাৰে বা অনলাইনও কৰিব পাৰে গতিকে মই ইংলেণ্ডলৈ গৈ CELTA কৰিছো কিন্তু কোনোবা হয়তো দিল্লীত থাকি বা গুৱাহাটীত থাকি CELTA কৰিছে but the qualification is the same certificateখনত একো লিখা নাথাকে গতিকে it's the qualification that matters not the location প্ৰথম কথা
Okay.
It doesn't really matter.
Doesn't really matter. Okay. Thank you so much.
Master যদি আপোনাৰ ইন্ডিয়াৰ পৰাও কৰে বলে ইংলেণ্ডৰ মাস্টাৰ্ছ হ'ব লাগিব তাৰ কোনো মানে নাই যদি অসমৰ পৰা আপুনি মাস্টাৰ্ছ কৰে ELT ফৰ এক্সাম্পল আপোনাৰ যদি এটা কোৱালিফিকেশন থাকে আৰু লগতে অৱশ্যে যদি ইংৰাজীৰ প্ৰফিচিয়েন্সিটোৰ কাৰণে যেটো ইন্ডিকেটৰ হয় একাৰণে মই IELTS ৰ কথা কৈছিলো যদি IELTS ৰ এটা স্কোৰো থাকে লগতে আৰু তেতিয়া it doesn't really matter where you've studied. Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
আৰু প্ৰশ্ন কাৰবাৰ যদি আছে সুধিব পাৰে
আৰু যদি কাৰবাৰ মানে কি আৰু মই মোৰ এড্ৰেছটো হেৰিটো দিছিলো ফোন নাম্বাৰটো আৰু মোৰ ইমেইল আইডিটো I'm not sure if let's see
মই শেয়াৰ কৰি দিছো chat boxত ইমেইলটো
হয় নেকি আচ্ছা ঠিক মই শেয়াৰ কৰিব নালাগে নহয়
অলৰেডি শেয়াৰ কৰিলো আৰু বহুতে মানে এটো আপোনাৰ হেৰি এটা প্ৰশ্ন সুধিছে যে মানে এটো কি কয় কোনবা এটা পেজৰ স্ক্ৰিনশ্বট বিচাৰিছে one of the student or teacher
No, I'll be happy to share the PowerPoint. I'll send it to you as a PDF. It can be shared. No problem at all.
Please email. So please
yeah.
Mr. Ahmed. So that he can share the entire.
I'll do that. Right. Our more phone number dia hoise already or more email. গটিকে কোনোবাই যদি এই বিষয়ে বেছি জানিব বিচাৰে যেনেকৈ IELTS ৰ বিষয়ে বা CELTA বিষয়ে বা ELT বিষয়ে in general you feel free to reach out যেতিয়াই আপোনাৰ সুবিধা হয় মোক কন্টাক্ট কৰিব পাৰে
sorry
go ahead
no আপনি কিবা ক'ব খুজিলে হিৰণ্যদা please go ahead
না মই এটা মানে মন্তব্যহে কৰিব খুজিছো ঠিক প্ৰশ্ন নহয় মই ইয়াতে আমেৰিকা যুক্তৰাষ্ট্ৰৰ ছেম হিউষ্টন ষ্টেট ইউনিভাৰ্চিটিত পঢ়াওঁ তাতে মোৰ বহুত আণ্ডাৰ গ্ৰেজুৱেট ষ্টুডেণ্ট যিবিলাকে আচলতে ইকনমিক্সত মেজৰ কৰে সেই ষ্টুডেণ্টবিলাকে ইকনমিক্স পঢ়াৰ পিছত তেওঁলোকে ইংৰাজী পঢ়ুৱাবলৈ বিশেষকৈ এছিয়াৰ দেশবিলাকলৈ যায় জাপান কোৰিয়া বা কিছুমান থাইলেণ্ডলৈ যায় মালয়েছিয়ালৈ যায় সেইবিলাক ঠাইলৈ তেওঁলোকে পঢ়াবলৈ যায় আৰু তেওঁলোকৰ কথাটো হ'ল কি তেওঁলোকে আণ্ডাৰ গ্ৰেজুৱেট লেভেলৰ শিক্ষাটো পোৱাৰ পিছত তেওঁলোকে পৃথিৱীখন অলপ এক্সপ্ল'ৰ কৰিব চায় আৰু এক্সপ্ল'ৰ কৰোঁতেতো এক্সপ্ল'ৰ কৰিবলৈ ঠাইলৈ যাবলৈ ফুৰিবলৈ পইচা লাগে পইচাটো অৰ্জন কৰিবৰ কাৰণে তেওঁলোকে আচলতে ইংৰাজী পঢ়ুৱায় আৰু ইংৰাজী পঢ়ুৱাবৰ কাৰণে তেওঁলোকৰ কিছুমান চাৰ্টিফিকেশ্যন লাগে আৰু বৰ সুন্দৰকৈ ফায়াজে এই চাৰ্টিফিকেশ্যনবিলাকৰ কথা কৈ দিছে এইবিলাক আজিকালি আচলতে এই ইণ্টাৰনেটৰ যুগত এই চাৰ্টিফিকেশ্যনবিলাক ল'বলৈ বহুত উজু হ'ল আগতকৈ 90 দশকত বা 80 দশকত এইবিলাক অলপ কঠিন আছিল কিন্তু আজিৰ যুগত অতি সহজ সেইকাৰণে মই যিসকল ছাত্ৰ ছাত্ৰীৰ প্ৰধান বিষয় ইংৰাজী নহয় সেই ছাত্ৰ ছাত্ৰীসকলকো কওঁ যে আমাৰ ভাৰতবৰ্ষৰ মানে সুবিধাটো এই যে আমি ইংৰাজী পঢ়িবই লাগে আৰু তোমালোক যদি বেলেগ বিষয়ত প্ৰধান বিষয় লৈ হিচাপেও পঢ়া ইংৰাজীত তোমালোকৰ যদি বুৎপত্তি থাকে এক লেভেলৰ তোমালোকে সেই ধৰণৰ চাৰ্টিফিকেশ্যন কৰি পৃথিৱীৰ বিভিন্ন ঠাই ফুৰাৰ কথাটোও চিন্তা কৰিব পাৰা বুলি মই ভাবোঁ
লাইফ ক্যান বি এন এডভেঞ্চাৰ
মিডল ইষ্টৰ কথা তেখেতে ক'লে মিডল ইষ্টত বহুত সুবিধা আছে মই মোৰ ছাত্ৰ ছাত্ৰীসকলৰ পৰাই গম পাওঁ মানে বহুত আমি মিডল ইষ্টৰ ষ্টুডেণ্টটো পাওঁ ইনফেক্ট মোৰ ইউনিভাৰ্চিটিটো এটা ELI মানে ইংলিছ লেংগুৱেজ ইনষ্টিটিউট আছে য'ত আমি মিডল ইষ্টৰ বহুত ষ্টুডেণ্ট পাওঁ গতিকে মই ছাত্ৰ ছাত্ৰীসকলে এইবিলাক কথা নেজানিব পাৰে তেওঁলোকে ভাবিব পাৰে যে আমি পলিটিকেল চায়েন্স পঢ়িছোঁ আমি কেনেকৈ বাহিৰলৈ যাব পাৰোঁ কিন্তু এইবিলাক আচলতে আজিকালি সৃষ্টি হোৱা কিছুমান সুবিধা আৰু চাৰ্টিফিকেশ্যনটো কৰি ল'লে তাৰপিছত তেওঁলোকে পঢ়োৱাৰ যিটো অৰ্হতা থাইলেণ্ডতেই হওক বা মালয়েছিয়াতেই হওক বা কোৰিয়াতেই হওক জাপানতে হওক জাপান কোৰিয়াত অকণমান তেওঁলোকৰ কিবা কিবি পৰীক্ষা দিব লগা হয় বুলি মই শুনিছোঁ ইনফেক্ট এবাৰ মই জাপানত মই কেইবা বছৰো গৈছিলোঁ মানে অলপ দীঘলীয়া সময়ৰ কাৰণে তাত মোৰ এজন বন্ধু আছিলে মানে তেখেতে ইংলিছ লেংগুৱেজেই পঢ়ায় তেখেতে কৈছিলে যে আমি আচলতে এই ল'ৰা ছোৱালীবিলাকক পঢ়াবৰ কাৰণে ইংৰাজী যাৰ মাতৃভাষা নহয় তেনেকুৱা মানুহহে বিচাৰো যাৰ ইংৰাজীত বুৎপত্তি আছে তেওঁলোকৰ পৰা তেওঁলোকে ভালকৈ শিকে বুলি কৈছে মই কথাটো নেজানো কিন্তু ফায়াজে হয়তো সেই কথাটোৰ ওপৰত অলপ ক'ব পাৰিব
কাৰণ তেওঁলোকৰ মানে এক্সপ্লিচিট নলেজ যিটো লেংগুৱেজৰ সেইটো আমাক যেনেকৈ শিকোৱা হয় কনচিয়াছলি আমি যেনেকৈ শিকিলো সেই বস্তুটো নেটিভ স্পিকাৰ যে নিশিকিলে গতিকে জাষ্ট বিং এ নেটিভ স্পিকাৰ ডাজন্ট মেক ইউ এ গুড টিচাৰ আৰু সেইটো মই নিজেও মই বহুত মানে ৱেষ্টাৰ্নাৰ্ছৰ লগত নেটিভ স্পিকাৰ্ছৰ লগত ইণ্টাৰেক্ট কৰিও মই গম পাইছোঁ যে if you're just a native speaker that doesn't make you a good teacher like Assamese may be your first language but that doesn't make you a good teacher in Assamese কথাটো সেইটোৱে আৰু গতিকে সেইটোতো কোনেও ডিচাৰ্টেণ্ট হ'ব নালাগে অসমীয়া মিডিয়াম বুলিও ডিচাৰ্টেণ্ট হ'ব নালাগে নিজে মই অসমীয়া মিডিয়ামত পঢ়া আৰু মই আজি 23 বছৰ ইয়াত মই সাৰ্ভাইভ কৰিছোঁ বেলেগ বেলেগ ইউনিভাৰ্চিটিত মই পঢ়ালোঁ আৰু I have also held some leadership positions in ELT গতিকে মই নাভাবোঁ যে এইটো এটা that should not be a demotivating factor
আচলতে মাধ্যমটো মই নেভাবো যে
মাধ্যমটো কোনো বাৰ হ'ব নোৱাৰে
মানে এটা ডাঙৰ প্ৰতিবন্ধক বুলি মই নেভাবো
আৰু মই এনেকুৱা ল'ৰা দেখিছোঁ ল'ৰা ছোৱালী যি হয়তো বেলেগ ছাবজেক্টত যিটো আপুনি কৈছে হিৰণ্যদা পলিটিকেল চায়েন্স হওক বা ফিলচফি হওক বা বেলেগ ছাবজেক্টত কিন্তু সেই ছাবজেক্টছবোৰত আনফৰ্চুনেটলি ইমান মানে কি বাহিৰত ইমান অপৰচুনিটিজ নাই ষ্টেমতো আছে যিবোৰ নন ষ্টেম ছাবজেক্টছত আছে তেওঁলোকৰ অলপমান ফ্ৰাষ্ট্ৰেশ্যন হয় যে আমি বাহিৰলৈ যাব বিচাৰিছোঁ কিন্তু যাৰ ইংৰাজীত অলপমান প্ৰফিচিয়েঞ্চি আছে তেতিয়াহ'লে এইটো দিছ ইজ ছামথিং ইউ কেন চিৰিয়াছলি থিংক এবাউট কাৰণ বহুতে তেনেকুৱা কৰে কেৰিয়াৰ ছুইচো কৰে মই কিছুমান ইঞ্জিনিয়াৰ্ছ পাইছোঁ ইভেন ডক্টৰ্ছো পাইছোঁ who didn't want to be doctors and engineers anymore so they switched to English language teaching and they're very happy with what they're doing today and the best part is it doesn't assume any prior knowledge at all so apni political science ot korile philosophy ot korile tar pasot apni MA ELT ot korile but you know you don't need any
Very
on the
flexible,
attachment
very
configuration.
flexible. Yes.
Very flexible.
Very
And the
flexible.
distance
And
options are very, very flexible.
yeah, there are a lot of opportunities. In fact, মই to অসমলে গলে আমাৰ ইনষ্টিটিউশন বিলাককো কওঁ যে সাউথ ইণ্ডিয়াৰ যিবিলাক ইনষ্টিটিউশন ইউনিভাৰ্চিটি আছে কিছুমান ইণ্ডিপেণ্ডেণ্ট ইনষ্টিটিউশন আছে যিবিলাকে এই অপৰচুনিটিজ বিলাক লৈ আছে তেওঁলোকে ইংলিছ লেংগুৱেজ পঢ়াই ল'ৰা ছোৱালী আহে থাইলেণ্ডৰ পৰা ল'ৰা ছোৱালী মানে সাউথ ইষ্ট এছিয়াৰ কাণ্ট্ৰি বিলাকৰ পৰা আহে তাত ইংলিছ লেংগুৱেজটো শিকিবলৈ মই ভাবো যে গুৱাহাটী ইউনিভাৰ্চিটি বা ডিব্ৰুগড় ইউনিভাৰ্চিটি বা জেবি কলেজ বা এনেকুৱা যিবিলাক আমাৰ কটন ইউনিভাৰ্চিটি এইবিলাকে সেই অপৰচুনিটিটো ল'ব পাৰিব লাগে কাৰণ আই থিংক we have an advantage over even South India.
True. Are we University Hyderabad? This is the only university in India that actually teaches English and other languages. Like it's an exclusive university. Our Tamilukor at a campus is Shillong to set up course. Our Tatu board opportunities are say. Gotike moi bhabu hekhon hosai khub bhal university. Aru tarpra degree jodi low pari ba even their certificate courses wonderful. Gotike ghor boi ebo koribo pare. Bahut kisam free courses ase future learner course ঘৰ বহি একো খৰচ কৰিব নালাগে
তো সকলো ক্ষেত্ৰতে আজিকালি মই এতিয়া ছাত্ৰ ছাত্ৰীসকলক হেতুকে কওঁ যে আজৰি সময়বিলাকত কোৰ্ছ বিলাক যদি লয় আজিকালি টপ ইউনিভাৰ্চিটিজ বিলাক ইউএছৰ টপ ইউনিভাৰ্চিটিজ বিলাকে ইমান সুন্দৰ ফ্ৰী কোৰ্ছ বিলাক দি থাকে আৰু তাৰ সাৰ্টিফিকেশন থাকিলে obviously that adds value to your মানে জব মাৰ্কেটত গলে হেলাকে মানে মূল্য সংযোজন কৰে সেইটো বৰ গুৰুত্বপূৰ্ণ কথা একবিংশ শতিকাত মানে
মই ELT ফেয়াৰ খনৰ কথা মেনশন কৰিলো জব ফেয়াৰ খনৰ কথা কাৰণ মই গৈছিলো পেপাৰ প্ৰেজেন্ট কৰিবৰ কাৰণে ডুবাইত আৰু তাত দেখিলো জব ফেয়াৰ চলি আছে তাত মই গলো that's how I'm here today
হয়
so that's a great opportunity as well in terms of employment
কিন্তু খুব ভাল লাগিলে মানে ইমান সুন্দৰকে গোটেই বহুত মানে অপৰচুনিটি মানে it's a very informative discussion and informative lecture so I think our students will be greatly benefit from your presentation Prupra.
Thank you Dara. Thank you Patrick.
Thank you.
Thank you. Aru prashno ase neki Hanghamitra, do you have any question? I think you wanted to ask something. Hello.
Yeah, Rifat, I'm going to send you the right after the session is over. I'm going to send you an email with a PDF copy of the PowerPoint that you can share with all the participants.
Yeah, sure. Aru karbar jodi mane eto directly Fayaz Ahmed or logot kotha patibo khujise ba contact koribo khujise definitely you can email and get the lecture or other information as well.
I'll be happy to help.
Hanghamitra, are you there? Okay, so Butkaru Nai, with that we have come to the end of today's session. So again, many thanks to Fayaz Ahmed for this wonderful talk and apuni বহুখিনি সময় আমাৰ লগত কটালে আৰু বহুত কেৰিয়াৰ সম্পৰ্কীয় information সকলোকে দিলে that how we can take advantage of learning English or take it as a career opportunity and the fact that going to any other school where your medium of instruction was probably not English is not a factor, that you should not be deterred by that. And many thanks to Fayaz Ahmed for your talk again, and thanks to all the students and teachers who actively participated in today's session. And special thanks, actually I forgot that students have joined from DCB College in Jorhat, and Fayaz is also from Jorhat. So thanks to those students who joined today and teachers from different colleges. And there were students and teachers from Dudney College, Dimoria College, Dibrugarh Kanoi College, I think, and many other colleges as well, Kokrajhar Golf College students and teachers. And if I forgot any other name, sorry for that. And once again, I would like to inform about the next session, as Hirandada mentioned before. So that's on August 27th. And we will meet with MasterChef India 2023, Nayanjyoti Khoikia. আৰু তেওঁৰ পৰা আমি তেওঁৰ লগত আমি কথা বতৰা কৰিম, জানিব পাৰিম how cooking can be a career option and what are the things that you can do. And I think we all will be benefited by this session as well. So hope to see you all at that time on August 27th, 7:30 p.m. Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'd like to thank all the participants. সকলোকে ধন্যবাদ থাকিল আৰু কোনোবাই যদি মোৰ লগত পাৰ্সোনালি কথা পাতিব বিচাৰে এই বিষয়ে মোৰ ফোন নম্বৰ আৰু ইমেইল ডক্টৰ ৰিফাতে অলৰেডি শ্বেয়াৰ কৰিছে গতিকে ইউ more than welcome to reach out to me. Thank you once again. Have a good night.
Thank you. Fayaz, you can be online for a few minutes once.
Sure.